Yes. This is a Castworthy podcast, and we are back. It is a October Sunday, October 16th. I'm Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed on the Twitter machine, joined by EJ today. VP could not be present. We just found out last minute. Shocker. Um so here we are, man. It is we missed last week, but we're here this week for a little something. What you been up to the last few weeks?
Man, just doing what we do. Nothing crazy. Um, had the big flood over here, so still a mess, but just recovering.
Was that like remnants of the hurricane that came up that way, or was it just like a bad rainstorm or some shit?
Bad rainstorm, bad mechanics on this end. So
Damn, is that
yeah.
normal up there?
So I was kind of saying in the chat in Baltimore, especially the city and different places, you have some pumps because we get a lot of groundwater. Like you guys don't really have a lot of sub-level type houses, which is probably smart for y'all. But Baltimore has a lot of sub-level houses still, and a lot of groundwater comes up. So if your sump pump stops, all of the water that's raining outside beneath your house will literally surface to the basement floor or higher. So
That's
um,
wild.
yeah, a lot of houses they're building now have the garage on the bottom level, and they build a house up because I think it's a Maryland thing. It's a Maryland thing all the way around. But yeah, it's just how they build the houses out here, and just the geography, I guess, of
Yeah,
things.
it gotta be because shit. You had a basement in New York, and we had a basement in Connecticut, and we never had flooding. Not from rain, at least. The flooding we got was from a broken pipe, but not from rain.
hmm
So that's
Yeah,
gotta be.
I think throughout the state of Maryland, a lot of places have sump pumps, and I think it's the stupidest thing ever. But you have to have pretty much a backup system on it to kind of let you know that it's gone out. But if you
Yeah,
don't, I mean, the shit could just go out and you don't even know. You know what I mean? So
shit's wild. So when that shit goes down, you gotta deal with it, or like insurance takes care of that shit. Like when there's a flood.
all depends on how you got it covered. You know what I mean? So yeah, it all depends on how you got it covered
Man, that's
at that.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Shit. Well,
What's
yeah,
going on down
man.
there, man?
Shit, man. Great weather. Thought it would be starting to chill out a little bit by now, but it's still pretty good. It's still warm, but for the most part, early mornings are cool, evenings are decent. In between is hot, but nothing too crazy. Getting through fucking October fast as shit.
Yeah.
Turn turn around in like it's 2 weeks to Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that? All of the Halloween movies coming out. You had Hocus Pocus 2, which
Hmm.
is a big thing. And Marlon Wayans has a movie on Netflix right now. Pretty cheesy, but I'm gonna give it a watch for the culture, as they say, right?
Is it a comedy?
It's like a kitty, not kitty. It's like a comedy, like a 14 teenage age type cheesy type thing.
Oh, okay.
So, and then Halloween Ends is on Peacock, but it's not getting good reviews. So that's pretty sad.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they screwed that up. Um, yeah, Marlon, like as long as it's not one of them parody movies, because he'd be OD with that shit.
Nah, it's more like a serious take. It's not like the old joints. It's more of a serious take, but it still has the comedic aspect to it. Kind of like, a Disney type flick, you know.
Got you.
But I don't know that Netflix does a good job of making things light like that, but
Yeah.
because when
You
you see
know,
Netflix, you kind of feel like it's serious and shit.
that's right. That's right. That's a true statement. VP was also ready and rearing to pod when the Dolphins were 3-0 and running through the world.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
but since their last two losses,
mm.
uh, it's been hard to find him, man. So you haven't had your chance to let him know about your Jets stompage last week. It was like what 40-17 or something like that.
Precisely.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Precisely. I mean, hey man, I'm proud of the boys. They came out, got a big win. They got a big game today, which can go either way. But yeah, man, I mean, they were down to their second string quarterback. This was a big issue for VP. First play of the game, corner blitz, our rookie knocks him out. And, VP is up in arms about the whole new rule and the spotter. But it's like, I don't think, again, when you watch that video and you see Teddy move left and then move right to get up, he don't look stable.
Yeah,
He
and then
didn't look
even
stable.
yeah, even when he gets to his feet, he's still kind of you could tell he's a little foggy now. I don't know if it was foggy enough for him to stay out the rest of the game, but after the way they handled Tua, I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the world they're under a microscope, so they have to do something. You know what I'm saying? If they just turned around, same team week later and they just let this guy come back in and let's say he gets hit again and then goes out, not only is the NFL under, or not only is the Dolphins under, scrutiny, but then the NFL goes even further under scrutiny after they just dealt with this guy that, many doctors are like, dude, he can't keep taking hits like this.
Yeah, and again, we can't have it both ways, right? We can't be like, oh, gotta take care of the players, CTE, NFL don't care, and then get mad when they do exactly what we ask them and the critical public asks them. Whether their
Right.
intent or not is to be real about it and be transparent about it, doesn't matter, right? We're beating the table 1 minute, protect the players, and this is what they're doing. And the quarterbacks, specifically. And he talked about a hit that happened when Braxton Berrios scored a touchdown. Like I was telling him, a lot of hits might sound like they are big, but they may be not as big. And if it's in the motion of action, he's catching the pass and moving, he may not have got hit square. But Teddy Bridgewater went down on the back of his head, which seems to be an area, if you think about it, in football, most collisions don't happen where a guy is getting squarely dropped on the back of his head. So that is a very defenseless area for that much pressure. And Teddy just didn't look right.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, man, they got to do what they have to do what they have to do to try and keep people safe. I mean, after the Will Smith movie and shit like that, they've made so many like changes. Like the kickoff starts at 25 now. You can't, hold hands on the kickoff. Like there's so many different, steps they're taking to keep people safe. And you still got people getting fucked up. You still got ex players blowing their brains out. Current players that are doing wild ass shit. Antonio Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, so next step shit is, hey, if we suspect that you might have gotten a hit that impacted your brain or your mental thought or capability, then we're going to take necessary precaution. And better safe than sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Precisely. And again, you saw it in your opinion and just look at how he got up, right? If any other guy was hit like that, right, and they were okay, when he rolled to the left, he would have proceeded to get up going that way. He was so out of it, he rolled left and then rolled right and then got up. And then even when he got up, you could tell just the way he was walking around and looking through his visor. If you look back at the video, he wasn't there. And even when he was getting escorted to the locker room, he didn't jog off. Granted, I know when you're in concussion protocol, they're telling you to kind of relax, take it easy, but you would see the dude moving and walking on his own. This dude was being guided majority of the way to the locker room.
Right.
So clearly he was out of it. And
Yeah.
but the Dolphins fans, Dolphins media prior to that game, the podcast, they were talking big shit. And they said, hey, Skyler's the next Tom Brady. He's
Yeah.
gonna come in.
Right.
Said they said it. He gonna come in and take it over. hey, the kid looked decent, but we wasn't losing to no third stringer, I guess.
It's got to be it's got to be a shock for them as Dolphins fans. You could see like their Twitter accounts and all that shit are up in arms, and for a wild ass loss. And hey, it happens, man. It happens. Like and to try and make it seem as though it's just specifically because of the third string quarterback. There's other aspects of the game. You know what I'm saying? You still let the Jets put up 40 points. So, any team you let put up 40 points, you got a great chance of losing to. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we've given the Dolphins defense a lot of credit. And as I went back these last few weeks, actually the whole season, it hasn't been as good as I thought it was. Like I've been saying, oh, the Dolphins defense is who's winning these games and yada yada yada. But that is not necessarily the case
We,
when I'm
we
looking at it.
we forget the Ravens was up 23 points on them.
Yeah, yeah. When you talk about the Dolphins defense, right? They have allowed first week 7 points. Great game against New England, right? But they're trashy. Um, they gave up 38 to Baltimore. They gave up 17 to Buffalo, which they won that game. They gave up 27 to Cincinnati and then 38 to the Jets. And these are, um, the ones that these are earned points, right? So what can you do? Can't be mad.
Yeah,
Can't
they
be mad.
they were looking good. I mean, like you said, they were looking good, and they came back to beat the Ravens. And again, I know we lost to the Ravens week 1, but we had Joe Flacco at quarterback. We didn't have Zach Wilson, which might have made it a totally different game. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, it, hey,
And ultimately, it's all fun and games when somebody else quarterback gets knocked out. Like when Dak Prescott got knocked out, everybody got jokes. Everybody, oh, the Dallas Cowboys are done. Ha ha ha. Look at his thumb. Now you lose your quarterback for one game. Actually, you use your starter for a couple games, and then you lose your backup for a game, and it's not funny no more. It's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah,
and we had and Jets had to deal with that from the beginning. We Zach
yeah,
Wilson sat 4 weeks.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We had to deal with Joe Flacco. You know what I mean? We shit offensive line. Our starting tackle goes down preseason before the preseason. Our other left tackle goes down. The guy we signed that's 38 years old goes down. We bring in our 4th-round rookie who's starting against Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? Like injuries is football. It's football. It's not
Right.
tiddlywinks.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And then yeah, exactly. New England's dealing with it. Shit, Cleveland's dealing with it with their backup, like Jacoby Brissett because dirty Diana up there in Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, which he'll be back. Well, no, not him. He's got a little bit to go, but DeAndre Hopkins will be back soon. But we'll get to all of that. We'll come back around to football, do some picks and such. Your man Kanye is out here wilding. He is out here on some other shit. Popped up with the White Lives Matter T-shirt at a fashion show in Europe, and just started spazzing out on everybody, spazzing out on Diddy, spazzing out on everyone. When he got some scrutiny and some backlash from it. Dude is obviously, this is par for the course for him. He probably has something he's releasing, right? But it's bad right now. Like he came out and made some anti
Semitic.
Semitic comments, right? It's tough, man. Kanye's out there, man. What's going on with this guy? What's your take on it?
Kanye is taking the evil genius role, and everything. Me personally, at some point, you can't take these people serious. And again, we've said this before. We got to stop making celebrities so important. To be honest with you, we got to stop weighing so much of what these people say on our lives and culture because they're rich. Kanye isn't moving the needle for anyone. Everything that we've heard personally about the people that come across him financially. He's taking care of people, I guess, and made opportunities. Great. But it doesn't do anything for Black society, Black culture. We get mad because they're in the media and we idolize these people because that's all we see, and we weigh so much on what we see. But really, it's par for the course. I mean, Kanye's the type of person right now. The more energy you're gonna give him, the more he's gonna keep doing this shit. Every time he has an album, it's something.
Yeah, you're right. I saw somebody that said, so I saw a couple takes on it, and starting with like the White Lives Matter T-shirt, right? And I saw somebody online saying, I don't know if you saw this or if this was dropped in the chat. I think I did. I think I dropped it, but I don't remember. But the person was like, people don't understand what Kanye is doing right now. His kids are half white, so naturally he has to say White Lives Matter, right? So tasteless as it is, right? Tasteless as it is, and timing and stuff like that, right? I think the biggest piece. So it made sense when I read it, but then I thought about it. There's never really been a need to tell people or tell the world that white lives matter, because the history shows the way people have been treated that white lives matter. If anything, it shows that white lives matter more than black lives based on history, especially here in America.
Yeah, and that's the issue for everyone because it's exactly what you said, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and it's like we give credence to it, and it's like honestly, me and you have never been huge Kanye fans as a rapper, right? But there's a generation of people our age, and yeah, I would say our age that idolize this dude as an artist, and they're hurt. That's like, I guess, if Jay-Z said, fuck Brooklyn and other crazy things, we probably feel hurt to some aspect too. But again, we keep giving these celebrities too much credence, and this is what happens. And people are falling right into the trap. He's literally just doing what he always does, which is promo time. I'm gonna say something crazy. It happens
Yeah,
every time.
yeah, you're right. And he went at Diddy, right? And so Diddy was like,
Brother
he
love.
started exposing the text messages between him and Diddy, right? And Diddy's like, where you at? I want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to chat with you. Like, nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Real Diddy-ish. And Kanye's like, oh no, you won't see me, blah 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 blah. You want to harm me, you want to do something illegal to me, come hurt me, all that fine stuff. And Diddy's like, no, man, I'm reaching out as a black man. You're hurting our people. What you're saying is impacting our people and the message and our culture. Like, I just want to talk to you, man. All love, right? So, what's your take on Diddy's approach? You think it was all love, or you think like if you think that was the drop the address text?
I kind of felt that way. You could feel the tone of it, but if you're Diddy and you're on the receiving end of this, and you know who you're dealing with, and you hear celebrities talk about it all the time, how people act funny and they don't really know where people are coming from. You know what I'm saying? And the animal you're dealing with, and then you also, his media people are telling them, yo, this dude is putting it on the internet now. You know what I mean? So the whole tone shifts. So even if you had that intent in the first place, he probably had to circle back to be like, nah, I gotta maintain what I do for the culture, and I gotta
Hmm.
maintain who I am. Let me not let this guy get me out of character when he on some bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's the tone I got from that message. It was kind of crazy.
I feel like Kanye West is heavily medicated, and when he gets off his medication, I feel like this is what we get from him when he decides I'm not taking my medication, because we know he goes through depression, right? It's clear. When his mom died, like we talked about, the bond they had as a family, him and his mom, and her dying suddenly, not planned, obviously, not in old age, right? Like, for her to die the way she died, like that had to be, he probably thought, routine, wake up next day, go see mom, I'm good, right? And So I think he's, he's probably dealing with that. Then he's dealing, then so you take that, pile that on, and put yourself in a Kardashian circle where you're constantly under, the thumb of the media, and everything you do, you can't step outside. You got to make sure your blinds are closed before you do anything in your house, because people are doing wild shit and hanging out in trees just trying to get pictures and shit of you. Like, that's a recipe for disaster for him. And then pile on top of it, he's black, a black man. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's probably heavily medicated. And when he's medicated, we see that he can be a decent individual. He come out, and whatever, right? And what I mean by that is, how fucking crazy is he acting today? And just 2 months ago, 3 months ago, he was up there presenting the humanitarian award to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that makes me be like, yeah, he's schizo. Something's wrong with this guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? For you to be like, oh, fuck you, and throw me out there like that, and just, 3 months ago, he was up there like, oh, I love this man. He made me. If it wasn't for him, like, you know what I'm saying? He's fucked. He got a problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't. I don't know that I mean, there's got to be a lot of merit what you're saying. Obviously, for the reasons you mentioned, because we've been saying that for the longest time. But I don't know how left he really is with all of that. But this dude, he really is different, man. Money, you talking about somebody who's really, been changed by money. But then you could argue, if you look at that documentary and everything that was going on and the grind that he showed, it's like, people that have risen to this level of stardom, you kind of wonder how they really wired. You know what I mean? And I think we don't give guys like LeBron, Jay-Z enough credit for being so grounded. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay, and even when you talk about Jay, like I've said for years, Jay a grimy dude. The way the whole rock situation went down for years, we know how you get down. You know what I'm saying? But I think he was able to turn the corner, and he's done so much for the people, and he still seems so grounded. We don't really think twice. But these people that reach this level of celebrity, you gotta be pretty crazy when your life is always under a microscope. Like you can't even go anywhere. Like Nick Cannon was like, Mariah Carey can't come out the house for less than 100 grand because she needs security. And we talking about Mariah Carey,
Right.
where Mariah Carey is an icon, obviously mega superstar musically, right? But she ain't getting checked for by this generation like a
Right.
Kanye is. You know what I mean? So you can imagine what these people got to go through. Security everywhere. You can't live a normal life.
Right. And her security is keeping fans away, while some of these guys, their security is keeping not only fans, but, harm away. So yeah, it's completely different. Kanye West needs to be punched in the face, though. That's what he needs. He
Damn.
needs to he needs to be punched in the face. He just need to get his ass beat, like, because and that's it. Like, he needs to square up with somebody that he has a problem with. They need to beat his face in, and then he get past it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's all you need to get right.
I think that guy was Van Lathan, man. Van Lathan, I think he was about to do it. I felt the energy.
Yeah, Van Lathan definitely would have done it. Shit, Trevor Noah might do it if he see him, because Kanye out here talking about he got Trevor Noah fired from the Daily Show. So he got to be careful, man. That's the other part, right? Like, Kanye's got to he's got to be careful, because now you're creating enemies within your own circle, creating enemies within your own culture, and you already have enemies outside of it. The Kardashian clan and their crazy crew of fans that don't like you for everything that you've done. You got kids. You saying this kid's school name, out in public. Like, this shit is just not. It's bad, man. It's a bad look. He needs to be committed, either committed or he needs his ass beat. One or the other. We've seen a lot of people, like, I've seen a lot of people get their ass beat, and that changes you. It changes people.
Yeah, but it ain't. It ain't never gonna happen. And again, like I said, dog just scared the hell out of me. Like I said, you know, when he had that Drink Champs episode, we agreed he made a ton of sense in what he was saying. So you got a little insight to say, okay, is he as batshit dude as we think, or is this dude just on some genius shit in his own mind? We don't know.
Hmm.
But again, wait for the project to drop and wait for the numbers to hit. And again, it's to me, it's a promo, but
Then he'll backpedal. You know what I'm saying? Backpedal and pander to black people like Joe Biden. Um, no, but
talk about it.
yeah, but so we got this two things, right? We got two ways we can go. We're at a fork in the road. We talked about Kanye needing to get punched in the face. Punch in the face can go into Draymond Green, or we got Kanye planning to pander to black people after his project drops, which can go the Joe Biden way. Which one do you want to go? I'm gonna
Let's
give you
go. To,
the
let's go to Joey B because I don't think we're gonna be too long on that.
okay. So Joe Biden, listen, what he did is great. Pardon, thousands of individuals who are impacted had federal charges for marijuana. Makes sense, right? Obviously, it makes absolute sense. Um, do you think that it was, there was just a good heart behind it, or do you think there was a political mind behind it?
Yeah, he did that, and also the just so you don't forget the point, the application for the loan forgiveness came out as well.
Oh yeah, that came out
Yeah,
today, right? Today or
came out
yesterday?
came out the other day. Yeah. Listen, man. Me and you don't agree. We agree, but we don't agree. I think we agree and disagree just as much. It's never really middle of the road for us. But one thing we consistently agree on is the political front. We're both Democrats. We both see the writing on the wall. While we don't champion or claim to champion it and spend as much time as VP puts into it, we know what shit sounds like, right? And we had these issues with this party and the people running from the beginning. Kamala Harris and her history as a prosecutor in California was under the microscope. And you're running with this person and you're overturning some of the ills that she may have done. That's great. But it took you how long? Right? And how many lives have been affected and you knew this was going down? You actually had a chance to influence President Obama to do this back then. So if I'm the people getting this pardon, sure, I'm grateful. But what took you so long? And it's insane to me, right? When you think about it, how many of our people were impacted not by just marijuana legislation, but drugs in this country, period, historically.
Right.
White person has grams of coke, black person has grams of crack, sentences are different, right? The epidemic of the narcotics and the overdoses and all of that when it was in the black communities, nobody cared, right? Now it's going where it's going. And we've seen that historically, even in the 80s when white kids started getting impacted by the crack and drugs. Oh, we gotta have the war on drugs. So it's the
War on
same
drugs,
thing.
yeah.
So we're looking to this party, to this person who we wanted to believe said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That they had our best interest. And it don't. And at the end of the day, it's typical politics. It's kiss the babies, shake hands, and leave when the shit gets real. And we all know that this shit is coming down now because he needs some points for the next election.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, timing is everything. So primaries, right? And so when you talk about the primaries are coming, and um local government or local governors and senators and things like that, right? So the local elections are coming up, and the way he spun it was, hey, I'm doing this at the federal level, right? I challenge the governors to do this at the state level, right? So now if he's smart, he gets in front of all the blue states and says, hey, you gotta follow suit. You have to. If you want to be voted back in, if you want to have these, these black votes, like I want these black votes, we want to keep these votes inside the party. You have to do this, right? And they'll do it. They'll do it. California and New York, they're gonna do that. It's the red states that are gonna be pressured. They're gonna be pressured to either they're going to do it or they're going to lose a lot of the vote, a lot of that vote, the black vote, and even the white vote. Don't let's not act like only black people smoke weed. Let's not act like only black
Oh yeah.
people,
Oh yeah.
have drug charges, right? So, but when you're trying to you're using this, of course, for political gain versus just being, a good-hearted individual and saying it makes sense. Like we got legalized marijuana in multiple states right now, and we got people sitting in a fucking cell rotting for a weed charge. You know what I'm saying? Like, or their live, their docket, their report card has an F on it. You know what I mean? You got an F on your report card because you caught a felony on a weed charge,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wipe that shit off, because people can go out today. Shit, right up the street from me, there's a dispensary. If I got a little card, got it. You know what I'm saying?
Same. It's one up the street from me. And then, it was 96 when Cali made it legal. And then years later, how many states then follow suit, right? And then now you look at this business. You as a black person, I get angry because I remember coming up, people getting bagged for weed, whether they was arrested, held, whatever it was. I get angry because you to not read between the lines, it's insane. It's become a $1 billion industry because it's now legal for one group of people, not one group of people, for people it's legal, and now people that didn't partake, didn't have or suffer the ramifications that other people did, have now invested in it, flipped it to ways that they could maneuver and monetize it. You have people that were literally impacted for this for years. And we know statistically, many of those people look like us. And that's
Yeah,
gotta make you angry. It's gotta make you angry. And I just, great job, but what took you so long?
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's great. I'm happy for anybody who gets that off of their, off their record. I'm extremely happy for anybody who ends up getting released because of it. Regardless of what their race is, or background, because it's trash. It's just trash for somebody to be impacted so heavily by that.
Yeah, and I'm sure I don't, I'm sure we're speaking generally over the things, right? I'm sure there's a lot of nuances, items, and red tape and black and white and a lot of these different things. But I think for me, I'm tired of us being such an advanced and smart country, right? But we
Mhm.
can't just do the simple shit that makes sense for the citizens.
Yeah,
Just get rid of the student loans. Why do we have all of this shit? Do the application, 10,000 here, do this, do that. We know, right, in this nation that, again, and I hate to be on the soapbox, but we know that the ethnicity, the ethnic culture, the people, whatever you want to call it, that suffer most from student loans are black people. We also know that we were behind in this nation for 500 years because of slavery, right? We haven't got reparations. We're still getting discriminated against. There's still unfair practices going on against us financially. We're working with all of this shit against us. And when we can have the experts say, if you get rid of student loans, these people will benefit and a lot of people will benefit and it'll help. Why are we just doing this shit? Why does it always have to be some legal jargon and technicalities why we can't do it? And I know how things work. We've talked on here. We don't know how much power Joe has to just do it, but we also know he can do it. He can do it and ask for forgiveness later. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing more for our citizens and the everyday people to just be better and live better in the nation that's supposed to be the best in the world?
I've seen a guy do it and ask for forgiveness later. It was the last guy that was in there before Joe. Done, not that, but done stuff and asked for forgiveness, to keep his party happy. That's why he has a cult following. You know what I'm saying? People say, "Oh, Trump has a cult following. His people are crazy." They are, and don't get me wrong, they are. They're batshit fucking crazy, and it is a cult, you know. But why are they like that? Because they say, "Hey, Trump, we don't like gays." Trump's like, "Hey, no rights for gays." You know what I'm saying? Is it wrong? Absolutely, 100%, 100%. But when you talk about Democrats, hey, to your point, EJ, all the time, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. I'm here for black people. I got a black vice, and I got all these things. But you know what impacts you, student loan debt, things like that. Where are you on that? Let me take the pussyfoot roll on that. And so Joe's got to do better there, man. Maybe Joe need to be punched in the face.
I don't know. I don't know he'd survive it.
Yeah, I know. No,
Yeah.
listen, he's accomplished a lot. He's doing a lot, no doubt, no doubt. And you can't brush off the stuff that he has done. He's been dealt a raw hand. You can only play the hand you're dealt. He was dealt a fucking war with a psychopath on the other end. Who's now talking nuke stuff. So, and he's doing the best that he can through it. There opportunities, absolutely, but there's still some years left, and we'll see. As we get closer to his reelection, maybe he gets a little more aggressive.
And before we get off this really quickly, and you just reminded me even more why I'm pissed off. I get it. We're the world's allies. We're the world's Superman, right? When it fancies us, because when shit is happening in Haiti and these African countries and people are being slaughtered, in the Congo, they're fucking fighting for centuries, killing innocents, doing all this bullshit, right? The world watches. They're like, they got to work this shit out. Russia starts fucking with Ukraine. We send in billions, trillions, and we can't even do what we need to do here. I mean, at some point, honestly, man, you got to make this shit make sense to me. And it's funny because people sit back on the perch and talk this political shit as if it's supposed to matter. I don't care about our standing in the world. I don't care about none of that shit. I don't care. You can walk and chew gum. Take care of your people and still do what you need to do politically for strategic reasons. Sure, we know why you're doing this. But we've been fucking at war with Russia for like 60 plus years doing this bullshit. And our people here, we could use a bone. Granted, yes, we're not a third world country, even though a lot of people in this nation live that way. But give us a bone. Right?
There's a shitload of homelessness, man. We got a big homeless problem. In the United States, and a lot of that money that's going elsewhere. Don't get me wrong, Ukraine deserves the relief they can get. We're not saying that they don't deserve the relief, but if you can print money for that, you can print money for home.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, man. Draymond Green is, for those who don't know who Draymond Green is, he's a basketball player, plays for the Golden State Warriors, NBA champions currently, and he is a immaculate troll. He's the heart of that team. He's a bit of a bully, in the sense of he picks on smaller guys, people would say, and rarely on guys his size, but. Recently, in a practice, a video surfaced where Draymond Green, one of the younger players,
Poole.
I forget his first, Jordan Poole, and Draymond Green were apparently going back and forth. Couldn't hear what they were saying, but you could see them jawing a little bit. Draymond approaches. Jordan Poole kind of pushes him to get him out of his personal space. Draymond is a much larger individual, so he didn't move much. And in not moving, he balled up his fists or fist and put everything he had behind a quick jab, putting Jordan Poole on his ass. You've had this happen with the Jets organization. And what do you think the impact this is going to have on the Golden State Warriors?
Well, with the Jets, whatever his name is,
Who's no
hit
longer in the league, right?
no longer in the league, broke Geno Smith's jaw, which I thought was some bullshit all the way around, because in football, you just never, the quarterback, no matter what, should never be touched. And that's just a number one unwritten rule. I don't understand how anyone allowed that to happen. But shout out to Geno, who's made a total rebound and flip on that. I think getting sucker punched is whack, first and foremost. But people are like, well, you pushed him. I mean, the dude was in his personal space. He didn't think, he might have got hit. But for the Warriors, they just extended Jordan Poole. And Draymond, who knows, could be trying to make his way to play with his homeboy LeBron. Who knows? I don't know. That it's going to be interesting to see how this may really have impacted them, depending on how they want to go forward. Because honestly, when you look at that roster, they really don't need a Draymond. Like, Draymond is the glue, he is the fire, but what he does is very limited on the court, and he's getting older. So the conversation of having to part ways with him will come one way or another. It may not even stemmed from this, but this may speed it up. So it'll be interesting to see. But right now, you have to say nothing to see here. It's gonna blow over. He's made his apologies. It may blow over. I don't really know. It's nothing to see here.
Well, he said he was gonna step away from the team. Didn't spend much time away because he was back in the lineup preseason. I think it was the Friday night. So that didn't last very long, but it sounded good. Sounded good for the press release. But yeah. So Jordan Poole, I mean, pushed him, got punched in his face. Pretty damn hard. Pretty damn hard.
Clean stick.
It was tough, man. If anything, he's gonna learn from that. He's gonna learn from that. That's the type of punch in the face that Kanye West needs. Like, he need to be, yeah. He need one of them that's gonna buckle his knees, maybe knock him out of them big ass boots he be wearing. Like, just relax. Maybe break his jaw like the car accident did. Like,
you gotta relax. You out of control.
Something like that. Kanye needs he needs some straightening, man.
Straightening.
Yeah. Tell me about a time. Tell me, when's the last time you got punched in the face?
Oh, I know. I can remember it distinctly. It was sophomore year in high school. Shout out to Big Will. Caught me clean, man, and I ain't been landed clean like that since. I mean, I've been into scuffles after that, but nobody got me clean like that since. And I always remember that moment, because I feel like that was God's way of telling me to chill out. Because prior to that, I was wilding, thinking I'm invincible, just doing whatever, you know what I mean? And sometimes you need, like you said, you need to be humbled and sat down. So shout out to Big Will Shep. I don't know where he is now. I hope he's not doing too much time, if he is doing any time, but I know he had a situation some years ago. But yeah, man, shit, I remember distinctly.
Was it a fight, or was it a sucker punch?
Nah, shit, he got me, similar to Draymond and Jordan Poole. I should have been more prepared on that one, but
sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes you're like, you feel like, this person ain't gonna, they're not gonna swing.
I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. But it happens to the best of us, man. You know what I mean? And I don't know how you go through life in the hood of some sort where you don't get beat up. I only know a couple of people from around my way that was undefeated. So
yeah, you learn from it. You learn from it. Last time I got punched.
I don't remember you getting hit growing up.
Last time I got punched in the face I got sucker punched, and in a club at a party. So,
Oh damn.
yeah. Um, but I ain't, I ain't full. I ain't fall, and it wasn't a fight, right? So I'm in there, and next thing I know, I got punched, punched in the side of the head, face, and you know, dude was gone. He hit me and ran, like the Jamie
Mm.
Foxx, like Jamie Foxx and LL. Jamie Foxx tells that story. He's like, "Bitch," and then he started running. That's kind of what took place. And I knew
That's
who it
good.
was. Like after that, dude didn't want to square up. He's a smaller guy, so, scrawny little nigga. So he didn't want to fight.
Mm.
And even though I'm like, listen, fight. If that's the case, you got that much animosity, let's get it out the way. Didn't want to do it. So whatever, man. That's sucker stuff. That's why it's called a sucker punch. And that was the last time, man. Time before that was a rough time too. You know,
Tough
night of
out.
some night of some drinking and stuff, and I hit a dude. I hit a dude with a brick.
Damn.
And then we're sitting on the porch, and he comes back, and his head's leaking, and you know, I'm like, hey, you should have never did what you did. He took my mom's car, drunk, high, took the car. You know what I'm saying? I had my mom's whip, so took the car, came back. Like we walking up and down the street, like, yo, someone stole the car. Oh no, that's right. I think I saw so and so take the keys. Okay, all right. So came back, caught a brick to the side of the head. You know, walked away. Then he came back about 30 minutes later. We're all on the porch, and I'm like, hey, you shouldn't have, and bang, caught me. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Woke me up a little bit. You
Mm.
know,
You
we
thought
went
shit
at
was
it and
sweet.
shit. Yeah, we went at it a little bit, but you go through that, man. You have to. You have to go through that in life.
We old now, so
Yeah, you got to go through that in
that shit
life.
is less desirable now. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that today. You put me in the, like if somebody hit me like Draymond hit me, all right, man, I'm gonna just shoot you. Like it's all good. It's
Oh man,
it's probably
shit
best,
me.
probably in your best interest not to be around when I get back.
Shit me, man. I tell you, yeah. I think about a lot of those scraps that I had back in the day, man, and just the reckless abandonment for your own safety and just wild, just our just wild stuff, getting cut and all of
Yeah,
that
'cause you
type
never
shit.
know. You never know. You're fighting and shit, and you don't know if you might fall and hit your head on a fucking on a brick or on a
Hmm.
fire hydrant or something.
Hmm.
That actually happened up in Bridgeport. Somebody got punched in the face. They fell, hit their head on the fire hydrant, and died.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
real. And you see a lot of these fights is vicious, man. I remember seeing a girl get dragged down the street by a weave.
Yeah, people think that shit is sweet, man. It ain't.
It's not.
It ain't.
It's not.
It ain't sweet. Um. But yeah, man. So we'll see. I'm excited for for basketball season to hit, just because you know, uh, I think it's going to be a pretty decent year, pretty good year. I want to,
Competitive year.
yeah, I want to see what Golden State's got going on again. Of course, I want to see how that impacts it. I look forward to seeing what the Lakers look like. Some of these younger teams, Memphis, Dallas, new places and new
New
faces and
York.
new places. New York, if they can figure something out.
My Knicks look good, man. My Knicks look good. My second team, our second unit is damn near rivaling some of the starters out there. I think we're gonna have a pretty good year. I think if we don't hit the mark, it's because of Tom Thibodeau, and he needs to get fired.
I would like to see the Knicks have a good year, a good season. I wish they had like one solid veteran on that team, like old head. Um, Maybe they need to bring Melo back. Maybe they need. I know they were talking about it, and he's not going to be a starter, right? He has to understand he's got to take that AI role when he went to Denver. Even though he may want to be the starter, you're not the starter. Like you're gonna come off the bench. You're gonna be the guy that's gonna, you might be in at critical times because you're a proven scorer and you've been in these situations and pretty damn clutch shots that he's made. Like know the role. Like you're gonna get maybe 18 minutes a night, if that.
That's a lot.
Um, but you're a veteran, and I think that's the presence that's gonna be needed. Maybe not throughout the season, maybe not early in the season, but as you get deeper into the season for the Knicks, and as you get closer to playoffs, especially if they can maintain that top 8, which should be pretty damn easy, or 10 really, should be easy in the East now, because a lot of these teams are getting weaker. Some young talent, don't get me wrong, like the Magic have some young talent and stuff like that, but you're talking about 10 teams now making the playoffs, with 2 being the play-in. You should be able
Should
to
have
make.
a chance.
Yeah, in the East.
I tell you what, Jalen Brunson, I beat down the table saying I didn't want this guy. So far, so in the preseason, dare I knock on wood, I don't know. He's scoring in bunches, man, and he looks like he knows what he's doing. The two things I'm concerned about down the stretch is Julius Randle wanting to get his touches and sacrificing the chemistry, and then Tom Thibodeau just doing Tom Thibodeau shit. Like they were up 15 against the Wizards the other night, and it's 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and all the starters are playing. Like, nigga, what are you doing
In preseason?
in preseason? Like, what are you doing, my guy? Like,
Yeah.
like I said, if we underachieve this season, it's squarely on him, and he's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. No doubt. That team should be a playoff team. They should be a top 4 to 5 seed in the East. When you think about, you got the Bucks, you got Boston, you got the Heat,
Cleveland,
Cleveland should be pretty good.
maybe Atlanta.
Possibly, yeah, Atlanta, because they brought in Dewante Murray. Okay, so maybe top 6. They should definitely not have to be in the play-in, right? Because after that, you start to get into like the Bulls, the Nets, right? Nets should be in there, so that's 5.
Nah,
Yeah,
that'll
so you got
be 6. The Nets, if the Nets are successful, they maybe. Oh, we forgetting Philly too.
and Philly. Oh yeah, maybe not. Maybe the Knicks are. Yeah, so maybe they won't make the play, but they
I
should.
mean,
But they could
7
make
or
top
8.
8, and
Yeah.
and really, we never know what could happen. Shit,
Injuries.
Cleveland could regress. The Bulls could regress. There's a lot of teams that could regress, no doubt. And I think bringing in Jalen Brunson as a scoring option, in addition to the guys that you guys already had, you need guys like Obi Toppin to like take that next step. Honestly, with the Knicks, like I need a guy that can jump, that can play defense also. Though like
He's
I
looking
just
good.
so that's
He's
that's what
looking
you
good
guys
in
are
that
gonna need.
second unit. He's looking really good. And Mitchell Robinson, I mean, these dudes are looking good, man. But with Boston though, we put Boston up there, but they're not gonna have their coach.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a,
How's that gonna
that's
impact them?
That's a good point. And I think the person that books their travel, they might be late because she was the one that was Slayer. Team Slayer. She was the one she was the one that allegedly one of the ones that the coach was getting at. I wonder who's got maybe they'll bring Brad Stevens down from the office.
No, they promoted the assistant, didn't they?
The assistant.
Yeah, but
They should have stuck with Brad Stevens. That guy is a coach. He
well,
knows what he's doing.
I mean, well, I think based on what we know, because nothing else new has come out. Based on what we know, I think the whole shit is some bullshit. If it was a consensual employee relationship, why is only one person getting suspended? Like I don't
Oh yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah. Because you fucked the owner's wife. Like you know what I'm saying? Listen, you got to do it. You got to listen. But Boston, like when you talk about regular season, I don't think that level of coaching, the impact that he had, is super important with all the talent they had until you get towards the end of the season, playoff time and stuff.
Hmm.
So I think they should be able to maintain a top 6 spot in the East. At least they won't be as high as they've been in the past few years. I don't think, but they've got a lot of talent, so they should be all right. They should be fine.
All right, I like it.
Um, So some good games in football today, this week. You guys got Green Bay. I think the Jets can absolutely pull that game out. Green Bay's been struggling these past few weeks. They lost last week to the Giants in
Mm-hmm.
London, to Danny Jones with no wide receivers and Saquon, of course. But I think the Jets defense, if they can show up where they were, the way they have been, um, Zach Wilson can keep from turning over the ball. Then there's and Brees Hall really is the guy. Like they need to take Michael Carter, sit him on the bench, and say, "Hey, relax here," because that kid's different, man.
I told you this.
Him and Damian Pierce. Him and Damian Pierce are the two young horses, paws, that are in the league as running backs right now that I think are to be watched.
I told you this, man. I told you he was the best running back to me in college at Iowa State. I was extremely happy when Joe Douglas jumped up to get him in the second round. It was damn near a first round pick. But I think Michael Carter and him make a great 1-2 punch. I think they're using them both very well. So we'll see, man. But it's going to be a tough out to go to Lambeau after a loss and win that game. So I
Oh, it's in
mean,
Lambeau.
yeah,
Okay.
if it was in Jersey, that'd be a different story. But I don't know, man. I'm here for it. Salah and LaFleur are best friends. Our offensive coordinator is the little brother of LaFleur, who coaches for Green Bay. So it'll be an interesting game. I just want us to compete. I don't want us to get blown out. I want it to be close. If it's not in our favor, I want it to be close. If we're winning, shit, whoop their ass. But you know,
Does does Salah does he call your defensive plays?
Jeff Ulbrich is our defensive coordinator,
Okay. All right.
who
Because
I
I
have a love-hate relationship with.
because I remember the 49ers always gave Aaron Rodgers problems. So if Robert Sala knows that guy, or if anybody knows that guy, Robert Sala is one of the guys that know him. And with the personnel that you guys have, he should be able to draw some shit up, especially considering they have young wide receivers, and really they're trying to live off of just two decent running backs. So I think it's going to be a better game than people expect it to be. When you see it on paper and you just see the names, people are probably thinking Green Bay is going to be a walk in the park. But I think the biggest thing that's going to be the challenge is going to be overcoming the road noise and stuff like that for Zach Wilson, and that's really it. Otherwise, if you slow it down, you let those two guys, Brees Hall and Michael Carter, kind of control the clock as much as possible. Maybe get a defensive score or turnover if possible, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't really turn the ball over, which is where his success comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Jets have a realistic chance at winning that game.
From your mouth to the ears. Yeah, I think you broke it down pretty well. We got to stop the run. That's been a problem of ours for the last 2 seasons. But you might be right, man. If we could stop that run and force Aaron Rodgers to, get a lot of pressure, who knows, man? And I don't know that playing in Lambeau is gonna rattle this kid too much because he went into Pittsburgh and got it done.
Mhm.
So I don't know, man. We'll see.
Or maybe just send a corner blitz on the first play and hopefully his head hits the ground. Oh
Oh
man.
man.
Um
Shout out to Sauce Gardner.
yeah,
Another
man.
great pick.
Miami's gonna lose to Minnesota today. You could book that.
Sheesh.
They're starting that kid. I have no
Faith.
faith that he can get it done. But there's a couple other good games. I don't want to hit too many of them because I know we're working with time restraints for the both of us. But some big ones that are today that people are going to be excited about are Buffalo, Kansas City.
Yeah.
2 4-1 teams. That's an afternoon 4:25 kickoff. I'm excited about that game as well. What do you think? Who do you think is going to take that one over?
I don't know if the Bills starters are back. because that seems to make a big difference. That defense is good. I think it's gonna be a shootout. It's clearly gonna go over 45 points, whatever the under is that they have. I should have bet. I didn't. But I don't know, man. It's really tough for me to call this one. I'm gonna say Kansas City's gonna win.
KC.
Yeah.
KC is at home. And yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, man. I think it's gonna be a good game, and I hope it's a shootout. I hope it's not one of those games that lets us down, you know. But the tough part about it is Kansas City doesn't have all the. I mean, they have a Hulk, right? They have Patrick Mahomes, so but they don't have all the weapons. They have Kelsey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire can do okay, but the Buffalo run defense is pretty decent. But from a wide receiver standpoint, Smith Schuster looks like shit. Hardman's not really getting it done. He's fast for nothing. So
Scantling had a good game last week.
Valdes-Scantling's okay when he catches the ball.
Right.
When he's not dropping shit, he can be a really good receiver. So it's going to be an interesting game, I think. I think it's either going to be a close, high-scoring game or Buffalo's going to blow them out.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kansas City's rookie cornerback that they drafted. Name escapes me right now, but I think it's Newsome. It might be Greg Newsome, but I might be wrong. From Northwestern, I might be wrong. But if it is Newsome, I'd love to see Newsome match up against Trey Diggs. I mean, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs? Yeah, Stephon Diggs. I'd love to see him match up against Stephon Diggs. I think that'll be a good matchup because I think that kid is a really good cover corner. And we'll see, like you called it, what happens when Stephon Diggs gets taken out of the game.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. That's a tough task. Definitely a tough task, but it can be done. We saw it. We saw it with Miami.
Newsome is on the Browns. The Chiefs got
Williams or Watson, something like that.
I don't know who. I can't remember who it was. I'm gonna look at who they drafted. But it's
Jalen
whoever it is.
Watson.
No, he was a 7th rounder. No, Trent McDuffie is who I was talking about from Washington. Trent McDuffie. So those two guys, Greg Newsome, there was 3 corners in the draft that I loved. Sauce Gardner, Trent McDuffie, and Greg Newsome, all showing to me that they could play on this level pretty well. So I'm gonna be interested. It's gonna be interesting for me to see Trent McDuffie play Diggs because Trent McDuffie comes from that Pac-12, Pac-10 area where he has faced a lot of passing and he's a physical corner.
Is he back? Because he was on IR for a bit.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, he's out. Yeah,
if he's out, that's a problem.
Damn it. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
There's that.
So yeah, week 6. No. He's McDuffie's earliest. So he's eligible this week. It's just whether or not he's gonna play.
Nah, yeah. 18 hours ago they said he's gonna remain on IR for week 6. So
okay.
Yeah.
The other big game. I mean, there's a couple other light work games around. Seattle, Arizona, I think is going to be a pretty decent game. But Cowboys and Philly tonight.
I was wondering for you. I was waiting when you get in there.
Philly is undefeated, 5-0. Cowboys are 4-1. People kind of counted us out last week, underdogs against the Rams. I was talking big shit ahead of time and felt confident against the Rams. The defense, the Cowboys defense is probably one of the best defenses that we've seen in a while because they have a little bit of everything, right? They don't have a lot of one thing, but you got Micah Parsons who's rushing the quarterback like a madman. Add to that DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side. We got decent, DTs in the middle who can, hold it down, right? So that these guys can get there. But then you got guys like, Trayvon Diggs on the back end who, when he's not taking, making bad decisions to try and jump routes, he can hold it, and you get those coverage sacks. So these guys are, the defense is playing amazing. They're playing great football. They're putting pressure on guys. I really think they're going to have to use like Van Der Esch as a spy on Jalen, which is fine, right? And just try to send these guys on, on the edges to try and keep him contained as much as possible in the pocket. He's not a good passer. He is not a good passer. He's made some good throws this year. Don't get me wrong. Jalen Hurts has made some very good throws this year. But if that's what he has to do for a game, I'm taking the other team 9 out of 10 times personally.
Yeah, I mean, this game is going to be for all the marbles, I guess, for the NFC East for sure. The winner of this game will sit atop the NFC East and the NFC in general. So it's going to be a pretty big stage. My only knock for Jalen Hurts throughout his career has been when the pressure's on, he folds. So we'll see what kind of Jalen Hurts we get today, and it should be a good one. I don't know where to go at this one because I'm Cooper Rush. I don't know what we're gonna get.
Right, and that's the challenge. The challenge for me is one. It's a road game. It's in Philly, which is a little bit different. But Cooper Rush, right? He's listen, man. This guy doesn't turn the ball over, and that's how you. And like I said earlier, that's how you win games. If you don't turn the ball over, you don't have to score a lot of points because you don't got to worry about short fields and stuff like that for the other team. You try to control the run game, which is what we've been doing. The defense gets it done, and when you have to make throws, you make throws. And so he's a game manager, and he's been managing the game, and he's done what he needs to do. Four straight. So I'm confident about tonight's game. Is there a route to the Cowboys losing? Absolutely. That's there's definitely a route to them losing, but I think to me personally, there's a greater chance from my looks that they can win this game.
Don't you have some crazy defensive stat going, but y'all haven't allowed like a touchdown or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I think we're the only team that has not allowed what was it? I saw that earlier. So I know what you're talking
Something
about.
wild, but it goes to show you that defense is playing at an incredible level. And I talked with you about that it seemed to me that they were building at every level and they were getting it done. And you got to give a little credit to your coach, even though you hate him, because Mike McCarthy is a stickler for defense. So
yeah, we'll see. He's a shitty clock manager. He makes really bad decisions. And when you talk about a divisional game, that stuff is important. That that stuff is stuff that's really, really important. And I don't want to kind of let it go unsaid that Philly does have a pretty good defense also. So
yeah,
let's not sweep them under the rug, right? So it's gonna be I think it'll be a good game. I feel like it'll be pretty close, probably like a 2017 game type game.
I could see that.
And I feel like the Cowboys are gonna squeak it out, but I can also see Philly hitting a game-winning field goal to win. Because they're a home team, and someone wasn't disciplined on the Cowboy side, or some stupid shit like that, because that's a Mike McCarthy-led team. No fucking discipline.
You hate Mike McCarthy, boy.
Yeah, I do. I won't like him unless he wins the Super Bowl.
Hey, that's how a lot of people felt about Jimmy
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah. Some point,
Yeah.
even though he had the track record from college, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the bulk of it for this week from a football standpoint. I mean, Miami, Minnesota, we kind of talked about Miami's probably going to lose that game. Everyone else
going into Jersey.
Ravens and Giants is going to be an interesting game. I feel like the Ravens should win that game, but the Giants have been like trap games for everyone this season except for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Brian Daboll, man, makes a total difference, but that's also another team. Danny Jones, people give Daniel Jones a lot of crap, but I like the kid. He hasn't had a all-world receiver to throw to yet. And I like how he has the ability to tuck the ball and run, and they got Saquon going. I don't know. I don't think the Ravens do well with the run, so we'll see. And that's going to be a charged up atmosphere to play at this Sunday. It'll be a totally different atmosphere than when the Ravens played the Jets. Giants fans are gonna be vicious. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, all right. What else? Anything else that we need to cover today? Am I forgetting anything? The student loan application is out. They stated.
yeah,
So if you haven't gotten to that, you should probably do that sooner than later.
good 10 minutes. Good 10 minutes on Hot D. Pause.
Wait, what? Hey, yo. Oh,
House
you've been watching House of Dragon?
of
Is that what you
House,
w're saying?
House of Dragons. Yes.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like hot defensive teams. I'm like, okay.
No. Nah. I think it's coming. I don't know how many episodes are left, but today's episode is gonna be pretty pivotal one, I'd say. And hell of an acting job from Patty. I can't remember his last name, but the guy that plays Viserys, that was a hell of an acting job
Dude,
last
I
week.
don't know. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it, but somehow they made that man look like they made him look dead. They made him look dead.
Right.
But yeah, I like the last episode was good. The episode before that was really good. I feel like they're getting to, they're gonna try and finish strong. I hope they are. And it seems as such. But my man Damon is a wild boy. He
Getting to
he
the
went
shits.
he did the Will Smith on him. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Oh
But
shit.
you got to give it to old boy. Old boy was, he thugged it out. He thugged it out, standing in front of everybody. Was like, yo, your kids is bastards, and your wife is a whore.
This
Your daughter is a whore.
this some
Like,
bullshit.
yeah,
But
but
they low key killing off all the black people though.
kind of, yeah, kind of.
Granted,
Well,
these characters are not supposed to be black
that's
based
true.
on the book, but
Well, remember, one of them didn't really get killed. He's just off. They killed him, but he jumped on the boat with his lover.
true. And then the other one right now, you got my man throat messed up, after battle cut, you know, his brother's head got chopped off. His daughter fucking died by dragon fire. Yo, they low key killing the black people. I'm just
Yeah,
saying. We see you, HBO.
I know. Well, we knew that was going. I'm excited to see tonight's episode. I did. You know what else I did start real quick? I started what Javari really raves about all the time. And I started it before, but I actually stuck to it this time a little bit. I'm on like episode 4 is Succession.
Mm.
And I'm liking it. So
I gotta go back to it.
yeah, I'm only on episode 4, but after getting back to it, it's looking good. I think if you give it at least to episode 3, you'll like it. Let's just say there's a character on there that you're gonna be like, aha.
I've been watching it. I watched I think a few episodes initially. I just gotta get back to it.
I forget the brother's name, but he a wild boy. He a wild boy.
Raising Canaan is been pretty good when you get caught up on the Power universe.
I know that's the only one that I don't watch. That's the only one I don't watch because the first one I just didn't really. It didn't do it for me. The first season. I'm gonna probably go back to it though. When I don't have anything else to do, anything else to watch, I will. I'll get back to it. Finish the first season off, and get to the second season.
Yeah, and BMF is coming back too. So for those who watch that, that's coming back later this month. So.
Yeah, we need some. We need a black family movie, man. I was just thinking that yesterday. That's what I put in the chat. There hasn't been one. When's the last even like a Christmas film? Like what was it like?
This Christmas. I think that was the name of that one. This Christmas or something like that. With Chris Brown in it.
Oh, I was thinking like Best Man Wedding 2 or whatever. Like that's the last big one that I can remember. And, you know, these people gotta take the masks off. All right, COVID. All right, we passed it. Get in, get in the lab, man.
Get
Somebody
in the
need to produce.
studio.
Yeah, somebody got to produce some shit, man. I've been looking for it. I'm like, all right, surely if I go through through Netflix or something, I'll be able to find something. But no, nothing new.
Yeah, yeah. I've said that. You would think with all of the advancements that we've had as a culture that we would have more black, driven films. I mean, you look at the '70s and the black exploitation genre where it was just black film after black film after black film. You would think we would rival that today, but we don't.
Yeah,
Even though a lot of those films were crazy and about the hood and a lot of crazy storylines, but shit, it was all black.
yeah.
We're not even getting that today. So
I need at least a Christmas film, man. Like I need at least a you know black Christmas film. Give me something, man. Fuck.
yeah,
Them should just be feel good, man. They just be feel good. That's all.
I can't even really say which black. I can't even outside of soul food. I can't really think of another truly strong black family movie.
Like a good one. I mean,
Barbershop ish, maybe.
I love all the barbershops. I love those. What was the joint where dude uh gave Jill Scott a hard time for being overweight?
Oh, that was Why Did I Get Married? Those wasn't no family movies.
Not family, but I like them. I'm yeah, family. You're talking about. I'm talking about just black. But
Yeah, those Tyler Perry joints, nuts. Tyler Perry joints was nuts.
yeah, I'm gonna be on the lookout for them. They need to get it together because we need it.
Yeah, we can
Absolutely.
use it. We can definitely use it.
All right. Well, I don't know that there's anything more to discuss today, but we'll be back to it. Actually, next week it'll probably be you guys. I got a wedding that I'll be attending next weekend, so don't know that I'll be available. But yeah, you guys will have to get to it.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see what state the VP's in after this week
Right
with the
after they lose to
Dolphins.
Minnesota. Oof. All
Kirk
that shit he'd be
Cousins.
talking
Ooh.
about Kirk Cousins.
Ooh, boy. Oh my gosh. If Kirk Cousins lights them up today, you might have to do a wellness check.
That's right. That's right. I'd go knock on his door. Oh man.
Oh, that'll
All
be
right.
nasty.
Well, I will start our initial descent into the ending of our show. Uh, it is the Castworthy podcast once again. Where can we be found? We can be found on Spotify. We can be found on Spreaker. We can be found on iHeartRadio. We can be found on Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Those are your biggest ones. But and just about a lot of your content platforms we're there. From a social media standpoint, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, mostly Instagram more than anything, at Castworthy _ podcast. Like us, like it, dislike it, send us some notes, topics, thoughts, all that is fun. Sundays generally 9 a.m. ish is where you can catch us prepping
C- CP time.
for potting. But yeah, man, we appreciate anybody that listens, likes, dislikes, comments, pays us any attention. Like VP always says, reach out to somebody, reach out to the family, and just tell them that you're thinking about them, especially those close ones, parents, etc. Until the next time, we are out.